What's up, X Factor Nation? We are back to the week 6 of the NFL season. We are the X Factor boys, and we're here to break down all things NFL Sports Talk week 6. We are here. I'm joined by Troy and Caleb, as always, my dogs. Boys, how we doing today on this fine Wednesday?
Doing good.
I should ask you two how you're feeling after your predictions last week.
Not ideal. Not ideal. But a little how you doing? Keep it moving. Bye weeks are here. This is when I think it gets a little bit easier to start predicting some things. Records will get way, way better. And I have no doubt that me and Fred are going to bounce back big here. And you're having a down week. I just feel it. You're due. You're due, Caleb.
I'm definitely
due. Better with the back against the wall, man. Hey, back against the wall, much like my Pittsburgh Steelers, we perform better.
I like it. Yeah, let's take a look at last week. I went 11-5. Troy went 6-10, and Fred went 5-11. Do you
have overall records in front of you?
Yeah, I'm 47-32-1. Troy, you're 39-40-1, and Fred, you're 37-42-1. Not bad. Everybody's still there, man.
I'm a fringe playoff team. What are you talking about?
Everybody's all right. We're still there. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll get right after it this week. See if you guys can change it around and put some luck on your side. But yeah, let's get right into it. Tonight's game wins the Washington Commanders up against the Chicago Bears. Fred, take it away.
Man, I mean, a heck of a Thursday night game. After the beautiful Thursday night game we saw last week with the Broncos and the Colts, the absolute barn burner. I mean, how can you even top it? And you get two of the probably worst teams in the NFL. Chicago, I know they're 2-3, but that offense is abysmal, son. I'm going to go with the Commanders here. I feel like I pick them every week, and they've only won one game, but I just think their offense is just better than Chicago's. Chicago is just, again, another rebuild stage. I want to give a big shout out to Jamin Davis, the Mike linebacker for the Commanders, though. Kentucky football legend, leading the team in sacks, great defensive player, bright future for that kid. But I'm going to go Commanders here.
Right.
Yeah, the Bears are just bad. They're just bad at football. I just like the Commanders team. The Commanders have been in some games. Carson Wentz is still top 5 in the league in passing yards. So, I mean, he's still throwing the ball.
What about Ron Rivera calling him out, though?
Ron Rivera's a joke. He's going to be asking for a job in about a year. Defensive coaches, they're on the outs. Offensive minds are on the ends. Ron Rivera, he's one of those that aren't going to last too long. But, neither here nor there. I am rolling with the Commanders as well. I just think they're just due to win a game, and the Bears just aren't very good, in my opinion. I'll never predict the Bears to win.
Yeah, we all agree there. Washington. I can't really add much. I don't enjoy watching Chicago. So.
I mean, can we agree that Justin Fields just probably is not an NFL quarterback?
We'll see, I guess. We'll see.
Moving on, Sunday 1:00 slate. Ravens at Giants. Troy, where you at?
Yeah, so the Ravens coming off a big Sunday Night Football win against the Bengals. Just one of those games where it felt like a tennis match. Just whoever had the last serve was going to win. Yeah. Lamar versus Joe Burrow, and it just so happened that Lamar got the last serve. And can we talk about how great Justin Tucker is? Like, as soon as the Bengals scored, I turned to my girlfriend and I said, "We're cooked." I said, Justin Tucker.
There was no chance.
Justin Tucker can literally hit one from the 50-yard line. There's no way Lamar doesn't get it there. So neither here nor there, but the Ravens, dude, they've been one of my favorite teams to watch, favorite teams just to, like I said, just watch. Mark Andrews is unbelievable. He's really, really good at football. Somehow, some way, everybody knows where the football is going, and it's somehow
he got them down the field with ease against the Bengals.
And it's like, dude, you look at their wide receivers. Like on the Sunday Night Football, they do all the introductions. Their wide receivers are nobodies from nowhere. So it's really interesting and great for Lamar, great for Mark Andrews, how they're able just to make it look so effortless, so easy. And I am rolling with the Ravens. The feel-good story of the Giants, though, is beautiful. I'm sure that place will be rowdy. They'll be fired up coming off a huge win against the Packers in London. So we'll see, but I am riding with the Ravens.
Fred?
Yeah, man. I saw a tweet that said, if you knew what you were going to get in Justin Tucker and you were drafting, would you draft him in the top 5?
Like, what do you mean?
Like if
in
you
the
knew
NFL
exactly
draft.
how Justin Tucker's career was going to lay out, I mean, money from what 50 in, doesn't miss game winners, only one missed game winner. Would you draft him in the top 5? I thought about it. I mean, that is such a luxury to have in the NFL. I don't know how many teams can say that because I mean, as soon as he got down there, I'm like, I looked at my roommate and I said, "Oh, that's game." As soon as he lined up, and my room was like, "That's straight down the middle." It's like, yeah, every single time. So I like
It's
the Ravens.
literally a work of art, like
Yeah,
what
it's
he
beautiful.
does.
Dude, Devin Duvernay did a lot of good things. Kid from Texas. I love how they used him in the run game. I mean, that kid's got some burst. Probably the only wide receiver with name value outside of Rashard Bateman. Of course, he's recovering from injury. But yeah, like you said, New York, feel good story. Saquon, I love that Saquon is actually back and looks healthy and just has that burst back that we fell in love with him as a rookie. And I think the Ravens are too much of the Giants. None of the receivers are healthy in New York. And I think eventually they're going to have to throw the ball, especially against a team like the Ravens, even though the Ravens are really bad this year in the past for defense. But I think that defense will swallow up.
They're
Saquon
getting
a little
healthy
bit.
though.
Yeah,
they're getting healthy and their pass defense was real solid against the Bengals. They seem to have Jamar in check for most of the game. And, you know, Marcus Peters is a huge part of that defense and he seems to be getting healthy. So,
but I think the Ravens just a little bit too much and they take this one.
Yeah, we all agree there again. I think the Ravens finally getting a win at home after losing. Was it 5 or 6 in a row at home?
5, I think. 5 in a row.
Get that monkey off their back. Get some
That was a heck of a
momentum on
football
their
game,
side.
man. That AFC North those two are going to be going at it here coming down the stretch in the next half the season.
Yeah. So we'll go on. Jags versus Colts here. Troy.
Dude, the Colts Thursday night football left so much to be desired. Obviously, without Jonathan Taylor and then losing Naheem Hines super early in the game is going to impact your game. One positive, I guess, I want to point out is Alec Pierce, kid from Cincinnati, the wide receiver. He's just a dude. He is just a dude. Like he literally has no weakness to his game when it comes to receiving. He just drew me right in that game. I'm like, wow, he's it. Like him and Michael Pittman Jr. side by side, that can win you some ball games. Now, obviously, their carousel at quarterback continues just to rev and move and circle around. Is Matt Ryan good enough to get this team over the hump? Maybe, maybe not. But this Jaguar defense, man, they're so fiery, so fast. I think this is a really hard game for the Colts, but I am picking the Colts here. I just think that they're just due to figure it out a little bit. Maybe Jonathan Taylor's back. Maybe he can get going, take some pressure off this offense. I just think that they're too talented and just too good all around to not figure it out eventually. So I'm riding with the home team, the Colts here.
Yeah, I also went with the Colts. I just think the Jags put a bad taste in my mouth not being able to score a touchdown against the Texans last week. And I just, hopefully Jonathan Taylor can get back in full momentum and we can get there. But Fred, where are you going?
I'm actually going to go Jacksonville here, man. They're like Matt Ryan's good. Like he is a good quarterback, but why can he not take care of the football? I mean, 7, dang it. And then he's fumbled like at a historic rate. Like, I don't care how many he's recovered or the team's recovered. My man puts it on the turf, 12 times already this year?
He's about to set all sorts of records. Yeah.
It's like he won't, and it's not like he's getting just hit the helmet on the ball. I mean, he just will not hang on to it. I think the Jags have a bounce back game here. I love their defense. I will harp on their defense until the day I die. I think Trayvon Walker was an absolute stud pick at 1. Pairing him with Josh Allen was so smart, and their secondary is getting better. Trevor Lawrence needs to cut down on mistakes. He kind of has a fumble bug as well. Love Christian Kirk. I mean, I thought that was probably not for that money, but he was definitely a great addition to that offense. And then the 1-2 punch with James Robinson and Etienne. I love that Etienne's starting to get more touches because I think that kid's going to be an absolute stud. So, but I'm going to go Jacksonville on the road here. 3 road teams picked so far for me, but yeah, I know I picked Jacksonville a lot. They're kind of one of my go-to teams here with them and the Commanders. Hasn't really panned out, but I am super excited about Jacksonville moving forward.
Pats at Browns, Fred.
Yeah, man. Is Brady Zappi the one, man? Maybe. I think Mac Jones is starting this week, right?
He's questionable still, but He was limited in practice.
Yeah, I picked the Browns last week to beat the Chargers. About did it. Nick Chubb's an absolute animal. That dude is just just consistently always good. Amari Cooper looks good. They'll get even better when what's his face gets back. I won't say his name, but yeah, they're going to get better, and I do think they beat the Patriots here at home. Patriots, I mean, it's all about defense. I mean, held the line to 0 points last week. Matthew Judon's having an absolutely freaky year. I think that dude's an absolute stud. I like what I see for the Browns more. Again, that running game is just so hard to touch when you have Chubb and Hunt. So, and Jacoby Brissett's been steady. So I'm gonna go Browns here.
Troy.
Yeah, the Browns made a really good move this week, acquiring Deion Jones from the Falcons as well, for a really late round pick, 6th round pick, I believe it was. And they got a 7th back, so they really barely even traded anything for a former All-Pro linebacker. So, shouts out to them. They keep doing things the right way, other than handling that Deshaun Watson situation that you're alluding to. But dude, they're such a talented team. They're just really, really good at football. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you broke up there.
Yeah, you broke up for like 30 seconds.
Am I back now?
Yeah.
You're a
little laggy, but
yeah.
Well, hey, we're crushing it. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Dude, what's up with it? We're on it, dude.
The bugs today. But anyway, the Browns are just very good at football, and they're going to figure it out. They have a stout run game. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch if you're a fan of running, because Ramondre Stevenson, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, it's all going to work itself out and be a really fun game, I think. I think it's actually really close, but I do think the Browns do win.
They're well coached, too. I think Stefanski's a killer coach.
Stefanski.
The NFC North the AFC North just tough. I know the records might not show it, and the top half is definitely better, probably besides Pittsburgh. Everybody,
really good at football.
Yeah.
We all agree there. I went Browns as well. I picked the Pats last week. I wanted to pick them again this week, but I just couldn't do it. Troy, I'm going to hand this one right over to you. Bengals versus the Saints. You said this last week was a big statement game for the Bengals. They came up short. Mm-hmm. So where are you leaning this week?
The statement that was made was not a good one. Their situational play calling is really, really
bad.
It's just not good. It seems like they have a toxic relationship with trying to get too cute on the 2-yard line and on 4th and 1 with halfback tosses. They just seem to love tossing the ball to Joe Mixon, whose major quality as a running back is downhill trucking people, like getting downhill, getting through people, weaving and bobbing his way through, getting around the edge and busting off a 50-yarder. So it doesn't really make sense. They're scheming right now. They're making Jamar Chase a really one-dimensional outside receiver. They're not bringing him across the field any. They're not doing any sort of pre-snap motion with Jamar, switching fields and then making him run a slant, like just little things like that, a drag route, a slant route off a pre-snap motion. Like just get that defense moving, get Jamar moving because the defense follows him. So it's just their play calling right now is leaving a lot to be desired, but I trust Joe Burrow. I trust the boys to figure it out. Joe said today that you can talk all you want about play calling, but at the end of the day, players got to go out there and execute. If they're not panicking, I'm not panicking. I think they'll be okay. But I do think if you're on the 2-yard line and you have Joe Mixon as your running back, you don't run a Philly special. That's not what you do in that spot there. It was a stupid play call. And then even getting back at the 2-yard line for a 4th and goal, I get not running it. You want to give it to Joe. But at the same time, it was a very weird shovel play. We're not the Kansas City Chiefs. So don't try to be too cute. Just run the ball down somebody's throat for 4 downs. And if they stop it, they stop it. Anyway, off my soapbox now. The Saints were supposed to be my surprise team of the year. Mine and Fred's both have kind of started out a little slower. The Commanders for him, the Saints for me. I do think the Saints are a really good football team, and I think this place is going to be rowdy. I don't know yet if it's for Bengal fans or Saints fans because the boys are returning to Louisiana where they did win a national championship. So I'm sure there will be a lot of LSU fans in there that will make some noise for the Bengals, kind of be half in, half out on the Saints. Like they're just rooting for their team and their guys. So I think it'll be a fun, cool environment. I do have the Bengals stepping in there and getting a W though.
The theme for me this week is if you left a bad taste in my mouth this last week, I'm probably going to pick against you. The Bengals play calling just did it for there was a lot of questionable decisions that you've already covered, but the Saints are good. Like I think it gets they get overlooked a little bit, and in Louisiana, I'm going to pick the Saints here. Andy Dalton revenge game ? But I'm going to go with the Saints. Fred.
Yeah, they didn't look, their best against the Ravens, but I thought I really liked what the Bengals did at points, even on that, that shovel pass on the inside. Lionel Collins just missed a block and not the touchdown. Yeah, it's just that was a mistake by a lineman. And you even saw on TV, Zach Taylor absolutely chewed him out, as he should. Joe Burrow, ever since week 1, I think he's definitely settled in. You can tell he's a top 5 quarterback. Anytime you go to play at Baltimore, it's going to be a tough test. And I think that is a cool storyline. It's who dat versus who day, and you're going back to Louisiana for Burrow and Chase. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I do have the Bengals winning this one on the road. I can't wait for Winston to get healthy. I think that he takes that to another level. But Andy Dalton looks good. Chris Olave is just, I think that kid's going to be such an incredible receiver for a long time. And Taysom Hill, man, continues to get in the end zone. 5 rushing touchdowns is insane.
I'd say the most rush-heavy tight end I've ever seen in my life.
No kidding. So I do go Cincinnati here, but I think it's going to be a really good football game, and I think it'll be close.
Probably have a lot of good energy, good vibes in that stadium. It's going to be
always
a fun
game. It's fun to watch because that stadium's just cool. The Mercedes Dome is a really cool place to play and just aesthetically pleasing watching it on TV. So, but
can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I think Hayden Hurst played a great game for the Bengals. I don't want him to go
going back to Baltimore.
Yeah, what he did for them against the Ravens, I really enjoyed. He, trying his best to get them down the field as much as he could.
I got to see Cincinnati put more pressure on the quarterback, though.
You talked about that today. Yeah,
you got it. Trey Henderson cannot be the only one.
Yeah, like their D line, obviously, DJ Reader, and DJ Reader's a guy against Baltimore that would have been absolutely a stud. He's the best run stopping defensive nose tackle in the game, in the game of football. So not having him stuck to play against Baltimore Ravens, but go out, swing on a huge defensive end, maybe a Sam Burns from the Carolina Panthers. Their direction right now, kind of moving up and down. Brian Burns, maybe?
Brian Burns. I was like, Sam Burns?
Brian Burns, sorry. Go get Brian Burns. Swing on it. Give up your first this year. I don't care.
I guarantee he wants out, so.
Yeah, you need a guy across from Trey that, takes a little bit of pressure off. They can't just double Trey and not have to worry about everybody else. Hubbard's great, but on big passing downs, dropping back in coverage. He's athletic enough to do it. But get us another pass rush. That's what I like, because we can't have all that pressure on Trey to do it all alone. But there you go. There's my Bengals rant.
Now, Fred, I'm gonna pass this one directly to you. Bucks versus Steelers.
Yeah, man. Kenny Pickett season. You played a absolute loaded Buffalo team. Very, very unfortunate circumstance going into Buffalo for your first NFL start. Our offense just looked atrocious. Our defense looked atrocious. Najee Harris has not done anything. Deontay is back to his dropping ways. George Pickens is really the only highlight. Claypool's not really doing anything. Pat Freiermuth got hurt and he's looked good, but outside of that, nothing. Levi Wallace had a pick, but he got cooked multiple times. Witherspoon's getting cooked. Miles Jacks, I know he has a lot of tackles, but he's missing reads. He's not sealing edges on runs. Devin Bush is still not a top 10 pick he showed. And Minka makes big plays, but outside of big plays, he's getting beat by Gabe Davis deep. That's not like him. It's a mess right now in Pittsburgh. We're 1-4. I have never seen a losing season in my life. Granted, I've had a franchise quarterback my whole life, so it's a little different, but we're in shambles. We don't have TJ Watt, and in the past, TJ Watt would probably get us out of this hole, but until we get him back, it's not going to be pretty. Even when he comes back, I don't know what to expect. So I'm going to go Buccaneers here. I know it's in Pittsburgh, but it's just nothing to really highlight. I mean, there's no positive besides George Pickens where I can get excited. I mean, that catch where he made on the sideline where he stuck his hands out and just stuck the ball like a catcher, like framing. I mean, that kid's going to be a stud, I think. And Deontay better step it up or somebody's coming for that wide receiver 1 spot. Tom Brady's too much. Love that they got Leonard going. Sorry to talk so much about Steelers.
You're good.
I love that Leonard Fournette got going, especially in the passing game. I mean, that's just another, area where they're just amazing. And Tom looked a little bit more dialed in. Should have lost that game, low key. But too many weapons. I think I don't think they just beat my Steelers. I think they stomp us at home. And I think a change gets made if we get stomped. Not at the head coaching position. One more thing, I'm done. If you are a Steelers fan, you think we should get rid of Mike Tomlin, you are drunk. Never had a losing season. We're 1-4 and you're calling for his head. You're dumb. You're not a real fan. Get on with your life. Buccaneers by a lot.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern with the Steelers is that Najee Harris just he can't get going. Like
it's not even our offensive line's played. If anybody's played good, it's the offensive line.
Yeah, he just whenever he runs, I don't see like oh that's a stud. Like for example, when James Cook, he was a rookie for the Bills, he gets very limited action with the Bills right now. But whenever he's out there, you're like kind of looking, you're like, oh, okay, that kid's kind of got something. Like whenever
it's like he's not running with any conviction,
with any purpose. He runs with no purpose.
I don't know Jalen Warren's going to get more snaps. I'm like, you are a true RB1. You're going to let this undrafted. Well, I love Jalen Warren. He's good, but because he actually comes out there and shows some grit.
Yeah, like Najee, I don't know if it was his ankle injury that he suffered early in the year. It looked terrible, and he was out there the next week. So I don't know if he's just nursing through that, trying to put on for his guys, like trying to just go out there and compete. But Najee looks terrible. The offense looks abysmal. Kenny Pickett is better off saying Kenny Pick it because he is throwing picks after picks.
Well, I don't think he looked terrible. I mean, he threw 1 pick against Buffalo. He threw 3 against New York, but one was tipped and one was a Hail Mary. I mean, he threw it 52 times. I mean,
yeah, they're letting him step back and sling it.
Decent.
He makes good reads. I like Kenny.
Yeah.
But Najee is the one that I'm really like. And then Deontay Johnson's good for 1 highlight catch a week, but then you look at the box score.
Yeah. So many for he had this problem 2 years ago, and now it's back because his route running is impeccable.
Yeah, we are.
I get my man Fred a cigarette.
Yeah, I am going with the
but like, listen, you have to.
I'm going with the Bucs.
Like, I'm sure I can't be biased because I'm a realistic fan, and I'm here. These Steelers fans, oh, it's 1 year. Like, yeah, it's 1 year, but like, let's talk about it. Let's change it. Let's not let this be a snowball effect. Like, if we have a top 5 pick, Will Anderson, you have to, be prepared. Oh my God, if we draft Will Anderson, pair him with TJ Watt. Oh.
How you doing? Keep it moving.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, Kayla. Who you got?
There's nothing to add at all.
Okay, I'm a diehard fan. I would die for my team.
Obvious pick. I've got the Bucs as well. So
Leonard Fournette, man. I think that's the key.
49ers at the Falcons. Troy.
Yeah. So actually, my upset of the week here, I'm rolling with the Falcons. I love this Falcons team. I think I said it before in a previous video. Whenever they get Calvin Ridley back next year, they're really going to be fun to watch. If they find a way to get Kyle Pitts the football, I think that would be pretty cool for their offense whenever he's back and healthy. But yeah, he kind of alluded to it with his Buccaneer talk that they got bailed out. They got absolutely bailed out on that stupid or roughing the passer call.
Yeah.
Grady Jarrett couldn't have done it more textbook. He didn't even sling him down. It almost looked like he literally laid him down. Like he didn't even throw. He just like kind of rolled over and set him down. So I think Grady Jarrett, textbook sack, gets ripped away from him, was terrible call. Josh Allen did the same thing with the same official a week prior. So it makes sense. He complained and cried, and then the flag flew, and it was the same official. So this official's terrible. Probably shouldn't be reffing big games with big quarterbacks. But anyway, enough of that. I just think that the story is the Falcons. I think that they just continue to show grit and grind. People thought this was going to be a wash of a season, and they just go out there, they compete, they stay close with everybody. I love it. I love it for Atlanta. I love it for that team. And Marcus Mariota's got the boys playing. When their offense is rolling, they can really hang with anybody, and it's fun. It's exciting. And up top with their managerial staff, like they're doing a good job clearing the books, making sure that this team, can set themselves up for the future, as well as, they're kind of competing now. I don't want to compare them to a baseball team, but kind of like the Guardians, where they just kind of, they cleared their payroll, but they're still a good baseball team. And kind of like right now, Falcons, they've been clearing off payroll left and right, but they've found their way into being a pretty solid football team. Not a bad watch. I'm going with the Falcons. Upset of the week.
That's 2 weeks in a row. Falcons, your upset of the week. I like it.
I was so close last week.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, Fred.
I think San Francisco has the best defense in the NFL. Those boys are just playing out of their minds. I mean, Drake Greenlaw, Fred Warner's played great. Charvarius Ward's look good in the secondary. Nick Bosa tops in sacks. Even Samson Ebukam, who comes in sparingly, has 3.5 sacks this year. So that front line and secondary, and of course you have Fred Warner's your Mike. I mean, you're going to be good. They force turnovers. They go score touchdowns on defense all the time. Jimmy Garoppolo's looked very, very good through his limited starts this year. I mean, 5 picks, 1 oops, and that's quality. Jeff Wilson's looked good coming in with Elijah Mitchell's injury. I think San Francisco's too much for them. That defense is just loaded. I do like the Falcons. I think Drake London, another rookie receiver who I think is just a stud. I mean, just an absolute freak. It sucks Cordell Patterson suffered that injury, because I think that's just another wrinkle of that offense that makes them even better. Marcus Mariota, very quality. I think, eventually, of course, they'll draft a guy or bring up the kid from Cincinnati. Coming out of my mind here, Desmond Ridder. So we'll see, but I think it'll be a good game. But I think San Francisco's defense is just too much.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also went 49ers. Everything I've seen from their defense, it's so tough. And yeah. I also like the Falcons from what I've seen out of them, but I just think this defense is just going to be too much for them in the long run.
What if I wrote them off like they were going to be the worst team in the NFL?
Right.
They're going to get some good things.
Moving on here, Jets at Packers. Fred, what do you got?
I'm going to go Packers here. I know the feel-good story with the Jets. They beat a down Steelers team. They beat a injured Miami team with no quarterback. I mean, both their quarterback, or 2 is out, and then Teddy gets hurt. So just too much. And Green Bay coming off of a heartbreaking loss in London. I think Aaron Rodgers comes out slinging that thing. And I think the Packers beat the Jets here.
I'm going with the Packers as well. I agree with everything you said.
It's hard to win in Lambeau, especially for a young quarterback.
Yeah, it'll be rowdy in there. They're due. They need a win, and this is one they can't lose. So,
Rashawn Gary's look great. Shouts out Packers.
I said it a few picks ago. If you've left a bad taste in my mouth, I'm going to pick against you.
Uh-oh.
Let's get crazy. This is my upset of the week. I got the Jets. Everything I've seen out of the I mean, I understand. It's just everything I've seen out of the Packers is just. I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it. It's just
it's mid.
Yeah,
mid.
Yeah. And I understand trying to lean on Zach Wilson and make smart decisions for a whole game is definitely questionable. But I like the pieces the Jets have. And let's just get crazy. Let's take the Jets here in Lambeau. Final game of the 1:00 slate: Vikings versus Dolphins. Troy, where are you going?
Going with the Vikings here. It looks like they're going to be without Tua. They're going to be without Teddy B. So, I mean, I don't see this game honestly being very close. I think the Vikings, man, I think we all predicted them to win the NFC North. We were really high on the Vikings coming into the year. I love their coach, Kevin O'Connell. I think he does a great job. And I just really like this team, man. Dalvin Cook, they're finally getting him the football. He's looking good. I love their receiving core, as weird as it may be. They move Justin Jefferson all around the field. Hey, Zach Taylor, watch you some Vikings tape, because Justin Jefferson moves everywhere. They find ways to get him open. They scheme him open, and he just goes berserk. And guess what? They're guarding him the same way they guard Jamar. So learn from these coaches that have figured it out and do it too, because Jamar has Justin Jefferson qualities, and Justin Jefferson is the real deal. He's a stud, a stallion of the sport, going to dominate for years. And Kirk Cousins looks as good as he's ever looked under Kevin. So I'm rolling with the Vikings. I love this team. They're fun to watch, to be completely honest.
Yeah, there's not much to add. I also went Vikings. The offense is really starting to get Dalvin Cook really starting to get going now. Justin Jefferson, just a dog.
He's
So
stupid. He's stupid how good he is.
I also went Vikings.
Everybody in the world knows where the football's going. And he, in that first half, had like 10 grabs for like 130 yards. It's unreal.
Fred, you going to zig?
No, absolutely not. It's Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson 1 and 1A. I mean, you can intertwine them for the best receiver in the NFL. Put some respect on Tyreek Hill's name. I mean, his numbers are right up there with Justin Jefferson's this year. Just a couple yards short and a couple catches less, but the same amount of touchdowns. So I think Tyreek, especially with the quarterback little carousel going on right now, he's definitely performed. I know he's a little beat up right now. I don't know if he's going to play. Was in a boot there leaving last game. Yeah, you just got your third stringer, Skylar Thompson, coming in, kid out of K-State.
Who looks solid. He looks solid.
And looks like Raheem Mostert's definitely phased out. Chase Edmonds is that true RB1 who's, a vet in this league he's really quick. But their defense, they don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And the Vikings do. I think the Zadarius Smith's looked great off the edge this year. Another Kentucky guy got a shout out. And Kirk Cousins, his numbers may not wow you. 1,300, 7 and 5, but he does what he needs to do and he gets it done. And Justin Jefferson is it, man. I hope Irv Smith Jr., not because I have my fancy lineup, but I hope he keeps going because he's looked very, very solid this year. Vikings by a lot of road teams this week. I'm picking.
All in agreement there. 4:00 slate games now. Panthers versus Rams. I feel like this is fairly easy. I went with the Rams. Baker Mayfield is not good.
He's not starting. It's PJ Walker time.
There we go. Well, that's why he's not good. But Troy, go ahead.
So the Panthers just moved on from their head coach, Matt Rule. Matt Rule will now have 4 years to sit on his couch and make north of $800,000 a month to sit at home. So enjoy that, Matt Rule, because people would have a really hard time getting me to get up and move. If I was making $800,000 a month,
so fat.
I would not move a muscle.
I'd be door dashing every day.
Yeah,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It would be wild what I would get done, which would be nothing because I could just pay people to do things for me. So it would be great. But yeah, Matt Rule, he's going to be a great college coach eventually whenever he feels like he's ready to move on, which I'm sure will be the next college football season. I'm sure a big school will call his name, and I mean he'll turn that program around because he's just a really, really good college coach. But enough about him. The Panthers are just a weird team, man. They got talent everywhere, but they just haven't seemed to figure it out. Baker Mayfield looks terrible. They're just not good, and the Rams are due. Even though the Rams look bad too, the Rams offense, Matthew Stafford looks completely out of whack. He just doesn't look comfortable. If he's not throwing to a white man, he ain't throwing. So it's very, very weird out there in Los Angeles. It's just weird. It's a weird team. I don't know if I like them. I don't know if I hate them. They're just a weird team. And I can't figure them out, but the Panthers are just so bad that I'm rolling with the Rams. But there's always that, like, once you get rid of a coach, there's that energy that comes into a building. That seems like
not enough to pull off against this.
I know, but like the Rams are vulnerable. Like they are vulnerable. So it's like maybe they have a sense of belief. And PJ Walker seems to be a good teammate. Everybody seems to love him. Everything I've read in terms of interviews and whatnot. So maybe the guys rally around PJ. PJ makes more plays than Baker. Can get out of the pocket. Can scramble a little bit. He avoids the oopsie daisies. And he just gets after it. So I like PJ Walker with his offense. I think they have some comfortability there because he started a few games last year. So I think it's a close game. I think the Panthers are like 12.5-point dogs or something crazy. I'll sprinkle a little $10 on their spread, but I'm not going to do anything too crazy. The Rams are going to win.
Fred.
Yeah, PJ Walker. He was Matt Rule's guy at Temple. Coached him in college and the pros. Shouts out to PS. He did his thing in Carolina. He'll land on his feet. I know he will. But yeah, I think it's a big bounce back game here for the Rams. They got to come out here and prove something. You got to come out here and just beat them down, and I think they do. Aaron Donald is really the only guy on defense who stepped it up. And then offensively, where they need Van Jefferson back. I think he's going to add something more. But outside of that, outside of Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, thought was an absolute stud coming in. Just hasn't looked like Allen Robinson that we've seen in Jacksonville. It was probably the last time we were like, oh my gosh, Allen Robinson's a top guy, but just nothing outside of Cooper Kupp. And I don't know. I do think they win this game. I think they stomp the Panthers just because I think the Panthers are really bad. I mean, I don't know what direction they go in from here. It sucks for Baker. I like Baker, but just probably isn't maybe a career backup from here. But and Brian Burns is basically their only bright spot going on there in Carolina. So Rams by a lot. Got to win this one. You have to.
Yeah, we're all in agreement yet again. Cards versus Seahawks. Troy, take it away.
Seahawks, again, another feel-good story, man. Geno Smith looks great. DK, Tyler Lockett, and the boys. They just look so comfortable all together. I like their offense a lot. Kenneth Walker taking over, young running back. Rashad Penny, prayers up to you, my boy. Broken leg. It's unfortunate the way his career has spiraled from a first-round draft pick to injury after injury after injury. And he's looked solid in the games he's able to play, but he's just never been able to string out a whole season. So prayers up to him for a recovery, hopefully a bounce back year next year. But Kenneth Walker is the real deal. Rookie running back. He's really, really solid. And I think he's going to do a real good job. But I am rolling with the Cardinals. This is their last week without DeAndre Hopkins. And I've said all along, if they were able to flirt with 500 with DeAndre Hopkins not playing, which if they win on Sunday, they would be 500. They're going to be in a really, really tough team to beat when it comes down to it. That's just my hot take. I have them in the NFC Championship game if D-Hop is healthy and ready to roll. This offense with Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, Zach Ertz, AJ Green, and then you got D-Hop. I mean, they can hit you in so many ways, vertically, horizontally, like in the run game with James Conner, the little brute that he is. And then they have Eno Benjamin, who has really, really been solid for them out of the backfield. I just really like the Cardinals team. Their defense is fast and fiery. I just love the Cardinals. And, their division looks like it's taking a step back. And so with D-Hop coming back and that juice that's going to be in the building to get him back, hopefully he hasn't been juicing because he'll have to sit out some more. But nonetheless, I love the Cardinals and I have them winning. And I think it'll be close because the Seahawks are fun, but Cards.
Yeah, I'm with you, Cards. Fred, where are you at?
This actually be my upset of the week. The big thing for the Cardinals, Hollywood Brown getting going and really putting together an absolute, just a really good year to pair him alongside D-Hop and AJ Green. And I think that's huge. They need to get a running game going. I hope the young kid Benjamin gets going. But Geno Smith, man, I mean, he's making throws like that one where he rolled out left, went cross body and absolute dot
to DK.
Yeah, that's insane. Kenneth Walker, I think, is a stud out of Spartyville. He was an absolute beast there. He set all kinds of records, did really good things. Was he the first running back taken last year?
I don't think so. I think it was Breece Hall, but he might have been.
I think they both went second. So I don't think there was a first running back drafted last year, but
there was not.
So both those guys are good. Breece Hall's been great for the Jets, by the way. But I like what Geno's done. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who just put in work in the offseason, and it's proved dividends, and he's looked better than Russ. I mean, he's plain and simple. So I'm going to go upset here. I know it's not really an upset, but it's kind of hard this week to pick an upset, and I'm going to go with Seahawks.
I like it. Now this, I feel like is such an easy hand off for game of the week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So is this everybody's game of the week?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
For sure.
I knew you both were going to go there, so I was going to say,
how could you not?
I saved my game of the week, but Bills at Chiefs. Fred.
Yeah, dude. Both these guys, MVPs. MVP candidates, both of them. This one's been hard to pick because they both look incredible right now. What Josh Allen does on a football field is insane. The way he moves, the way he throws, just everything. And Stephon Diggs is an absolute stud. You can't leave him out of the top 5 receiver conversation. The way he runs routes, the way he just doesn't drop anything. He's just what you need in that offense. And Gabe Davis complimenting him so well. Need to get Dawson Knox healthy because I think he does a lot of good things for them as well. And their defense, man. I mean, Greg Rousseau's look great. Jordan Poyer just continues to be one of the top safeties in the NFL. So actually, I'm going to go with the away team here. I think Buffalo comes out on top against Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes looks great. CEH looks amazing for them. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And Travis Kelce's, of course, just their weapon. I mean, need the other guys to step up. I think Juju's looked okay. Montez Valdez-Scantling's looked okay. And McCole Hardman also. So I'm looking for one of those three to really get going this game, but I am going to go Buffalo.
Right.
I'm rolling with the Chiefs. I've said it all along in multiple games that I just think this means more to Patty this year. I don't know what it is. I think he's just out to prove that it wasn't a fluke how good he's been just because he had Tyreek. I think that the way he's talking trash to other teams, like dude went nose to nose with Max Crosby. Max Crosby's not a dude I'd want to mess with. Max Crosby is an absolute stallion on the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders. And he's going nose to nose with him. He had to be held back by Coach Andy Reid because he was talking trash to the other sideline on Monday Night Football. Dude was down 17, didn't blink, didn't flinch, led them all the way back, and they took the lead to start the third quarter. It was like, oh, you're down 17-0 overall, pretty much to start the second quarter, essentially, and you're all the way back and leading by the middle of the third quarter. And it's like he's talking trash. He didn't need Travis Kelce to go off for 150 yards. He just needed him when it mattered most in the red zone. And that's exactly what happened. Obviously, Buffalo is Buffalo. They're really, really good at football. There's just a hill that they have to get over. And this would be a huge game for them. This would be a huge momentum swing for them. And I think, this game is just going to be awesome. I'm so glad it's essentially like one of the only 4:00 games worth a rip to watch.
How do they not put this in prime time?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense the way they do stuff like that. I mean, it's literally a playoff rematch of
just put this on Thursday night. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs. I wanted to go Bills all day. I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna go Bills. It's their time. But then I'm sitting here, I'm like, there's no way. The Chiefs are at home. Patrick Mahomes is an underdog. He's going to use that as fuel. So I'm riding with Patty. Patty, take us home.
Yeah, I'm with you. I went back and forth all day about who I was going to take here because, just two dynamic offenses. I also went with the Chiefs. The game that Travis Kelce had, he killed me in fantasy, so I got to show him respect there. Obviously he's deserving, but yeah, everything you've pointed out, the attitude, the swagger, and they're rolling right now. So I agree with you there. I went with the Chiefs. Now, this is my game of the week just because I wanted to swerve. And I think that this is a rivalry game, and that place is going to be rocking to stay undefeated and to beat the Cowboys. Cowboys versus Eagles. If you've been following along for the last several weeks, you already know my pick. And I'm going to keep it going. Fred, where are you at?
Yeah, man, I'm also going to go with Philadelphia. Their run game this year Jalen Hurts is the main story, and he's thrown it really well, of course, with the 3 stud receivers now. But Miles Sanders, man, I think he's kind of the story for me. He's been, through his young career so far, just been kind of average. And this year he's really stepped it up. And of course that defense, the aging Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox still getting it done. Hassan Riddick doing some really good things. James Bradbury and Darius Slade. They just have a bunch of veterans on their defense just acting like they're back in 2012. You know what I mean? So really cool to see. Of course, Michael Parsons is a freak for Dallas, and shouts out Cooper Rush, man, for what he's done in Dak's absence. Definitely want to give him his flowers, but I do think that Philadelphia defense swarms him this week. And I think Jalen Hurts has a big game, and so does Miles Sanders. So I'm going to go with Philadelphia. Yeah, you're right. Philadelphia is going to be rocking Sunday night.
Yeah, dude, I was looking at the Eagles' remaining schedule. It's not out of the question that they don't go 15-2. Their schedule is not only easy, it is cupcake. It is literally designed with the way that they were able to start the year. They can be the number 1 seed in the NFC going to the playoffs. They can get a bye.
I think they will be.
And literally have home field advantage the entire course until the Super Bowl. If they make it that far, of course. I'm not making any prediction, but just something to lay out there that's pretty interesting.
With the Rams and the Buccaneers not looking as good, it's
It's anybody's
Who's going to
game
compete? Yeah.
in the NFC. It's literally anybody's game. That's why
Minnesota,
I'm rolling with the
maybe.
Cardinals. Yeah. But I think this might be one of my first time picking the Eagles this year. Like literally, I feel like I've
They're
gone
5-0
against them.
too. I've
I'm
gone
like,
against them too.
they're due to lose. I just keep like
Yeah.
trying to predict like, okay, they're gonna lose. No, they're not. Maybe they will though, because I'm picking them.
The Cowboys defense does scare me a little bit, but I just think home field advantage, got to give them the edge there. But
I mean, Micah Parsons freaky. I mean, that dude, I think
He's
that's
unreal.
generational. I mean, he's a little beat up though, isn't he? Little gimpy.
little ankle problem, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll get to
Pat-
Jalen a couple times, I'm sure.
capping it off here, Sunday Night Football, Broncos at the Chargers. Troy, take us away.
Yeah, Monday Night Football, the Broncos somehow sneak their way into yet another primetime game.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be a close game. I hope the Chargers bring their offense to the dance, because if they don't, this one will be another boring one. Because I think that this could be a game where Russell finally just lets it loose a little bit, throws the football down the field. You know, the Chargers defense isn't really anything to write home about. Like, they got a ton of dudes, but not a lot of consistent football out there. So, I mean, I am rolling with the Chargers though, just because I'm like with Caleb on this one. If you leave a bad taste in my mouth, I am not picking you. And the Broncos right now look terrible. They look absolutely dysfunctional. Russ is missing wide open receivers for whatever reason. He looks uncomfortable. He does not look healthy. He does not look himself. I don't know. He just really frustrates me as a quarterback. He just seems in the locker room. He just feels like a guy that would just walk in and be like, I'm cooler than you. I have, a beautiful family. I have a supermodel wife. I have blah, 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 blue. And he's just like, I'm cooler than you type attitude. Like, I'm better. I'm holy. I pray every day. Like those just from the outside looking in, he just looks like an arrogant, piece of trash.
I think
just on my
opposite.
view. No, I think he's all talk. I think he's literally one of the fakest people probably in sports.
I think he's genuine. I think he's just dweeby. I think he's a dweeb.
I don't think he's genuine. I think that he changes his accent for who he's around. If you watch certain videos,
because he's a dweeb.
His voice is a little bit different when he's around certain people. Like, and if you change that much for your environment, I'm not for you. You can't fool a locker room with that. And maybe that's why the struggling Broncos are out to such a bad start, because the dudes ain't bought in. KJ Hamler's been through some stuff. Like, he has been through it. He's battled with injuries his whole career, has a chance for a walk-off touchdown on primetime television. Russell doesn't even look his way. Doesn't even look like ran a beautiful route. That's not just frustration from that play. There's obvious some sort of ripple that has been happening. And for KJ to act out like that, that means that that's not the first time something like that has gone on, whether in practice or in the games. So I think that there's some type of thing going on with that locker room that everybody may not be bought in. And the way Melvin Gordon even looked at Russ when he was on the sideline, like, I know it's a meme now, but that's almost like dude, what? Either Russ was saying something that was like, what? And then like Russ with the mic'd up where he's like, come on, tell them if they're running or passing, like screaming on the sideline. It's like, dude, like, quit being a clown. Just play football, be good, be great, and then you'll have the respect of the locker room. All this wumbo jumbo garbage ain't for me. I'm out on the Broncos and Russell Wilson as a whole. And there's my rant about Russell Wilson. I've been holding it in because last week I saved my rant up, and then I had a stinking work meeting that I had to go to, so I couldn't get behind this mic and let y'all hear it about how I feel about Russell Wilson. But there you go. You get it. I get it off my chest. I feel so much better. Sorry.
Fred,
there you go.
Fred, cap us off.
I disagree with what Troy says about Russ. I mean, he's played in a system now for 10 plus years in Seattle, and he comes into a brand new coach and a brand new system with brand new weapons. I mean, that's just it's gonna take some time.
Tom and Matthew Stafford look pretty good.
They also had Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
He's got Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy.
Proven?
Cortland Sutton looks like a stud week in, week out. They just can't get him the ball. I
ain't for it.
Oh my God.
And also Matt and Tom, I mean, they both came into that's an easy system throwing in Los Angeles. Don't
So
know
now
why
we're
he's
making
not doing it.
excuses. So now we're making excuses for us.
I'm just trying to be play devil's avocado and help out Russ here.
If he's as
I'm
great as a
going
quarterback
Chargers.
as he is, though, he should be able to pick it up.
We don't know what's going on in his home life. I think he's a good guy.
Oh my God.
I have to play devil's advocate. Somebody has to protect Russ. I'm gonna go Chargers here. Justin Herbert's looked great. Austin Eckler's going. I mean, that's RB1 fantasy football wise. I mean, dude's absolutely set the world on fire. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, absolute studs. Even Gerald Everett's looked absolutely disgusting this year. That defense has hasn't really done much, especially defending the pass this year. Khalil Mack looks like Khalil Mack, and Derwin James is Derwin James. Bradley Chubb's looked good for Denver. Their defense absolutely was incredible against the Colts. Just kind of slipped up there at the end and gave up too many field goals, I guess is what we're going to have to go to now. But, I mean, offense got to help you out. I do think Russ does a little bit more this game, and they make it a game, but I do think the Chargers.
They had a chance to win against the Colts on Thursday Night Football. They're in the red zone with the 2-minute warning looming. The Colts have one timeout on third down, and he throws it in the end zone, targeting Stephon Gilmore. And Stephon Gilmore, it's right to Stephon. Like one of the best quarterbacks of our era, and he's throwing it straight to him. Like I don't care about a system. That's a system throw. That's a system miscue. He's throwing the ball to the other team in the red zone. Get out of here. He's a joke. He's a clown.
Hey, we'll end on that. That's a great end.
Russ is a clown.
But yeah, Troy, Fred, which one do you want to take it away for the fantasy matchup?
Fantasy football sleeper showdown, baby. Last week, Fred had Ben Skoranek, and he posted 10.1 points. Juwan Johnson posted 2.3 points. I did not know it was going to be the Taysom Hill show out there in New Orleans last week, so he got all the love from the tight end room. So Fred moves to 3-2. I move obviously to 2-3. This week, I went with KJ Osborne from the Minnesota Vikings. I just think
picked him up too.
I did pick him up. That is a sneaky guy that I really, really like. He's owned by 3.3% of ESPN leagues. And I just think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I don't think the Dolphins will be able to, handle what the Vikings present. And if they do end up double teaming, which is what they did a lot against the Bengals with Jamar Chase, I think that their T. Higgins is KJ Osborne, and I think KJ Osborne, their wide receiver too, has a pretty big day. He's going to be open a whole lot. They're going to leave him one-on-one, and I think KJ is good enough to get it going. And he's my fantasy football sleeper of the week.
I went with the kid in San Francisco, 7th round draft pick out of Tennessee in 2020, Juwan Jennings.
He was my second option.
I mean, 6'3", 212. He's looked good this year, and I think he just continues to grow. I watched him in that a little bit against the Rams, and he just seemed to really get open. I mean, he hasn't set the world on fire. I mean, he hasn't really had
breaks tackles, man. They can't bring him down.
I mean, he's huge, and I think he kind of explodes this week. I like guys who play a lot. And he seems to be on the field a lot, so I think he gets a lot of targets, and I think he steps up, and he is owned by 0.3% of ESPN fantasy football. So shouts out to you, Juwan.
There we go. Anything to add, Caleb? Anything to add, Troy? No. Fred, take us home.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to NFL Week 6. We're so excited for just an absolutely exciting NFL season. A lot of storylines, and we are so excited to be able to cover them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment any questions. We'll always answer them. NBA start really soon. A lot of NBA content, so make sure to check that out. And yeah, just be great. Don't be a star. Don't be a superstar. Change that game. Be an X factor. We'll see you guys next time. Love y'all. God bless. And peace out.